The library lights flickered, and then the doors locked by themselves. It was 11 p.m., and I was the only person left in the school. My friends had all gone home hours ago after our study session, but I had stayed behind to finish my homework. As the night wore on, I began to get creeped out. At first, it was just the shadows cast by the flickering lights, but then things started to move on their own. Books fell off the shelves by themselves, but when I looked over, there was no one there. It was then I noticed a shadow moving between the aisles. It didn't belong to any of the students or teachers. I called out, but there was no reply. Whoever or whatever it was just kept moving. I tried to focus on my work, but then I heard a whispering voice coming from inside the books. At first it was too quiet to make out the words, but then it seemed to get louder. It said my name. I looked up to see the pages of a nearby book turning on their own, and when they stopped, the title spelled out my name. Well, the first 3 letters. I got so freaked out that I ran to the bathroom, but when I looked in the mirror, there was no one behind me. I was alone, so I went back to the library to get my stuff. But that's when I saw her. She was an old woman with very pale skin, and she was placing books back onto the shelves. The thing is, she shouldn't have been there. Wasn't a teacher or a librarian, and the way she moved made it clear that she wasn't human. Her eyes were completely black, and she didn't seem to acknowledge my presence. I wanted to get out of there, but then I noticed something strange about the books. She was placing them on the shelves backwards. I don't know why that stood out to me, but it did. So I asked her, "Do you work here?" She didn't answer. She just kept placing the books onto the shelves backwards. I backed away slowly, keeping my eyes on her the whole time. I wanted to run, but something was keeping me rooted to the spot. I couldn't move. All I could do was watch as she finished placing the last book on the shelf. Then she turned around, and I saw what was written on the back. It said, "Do not go to the library." I screamed and ran for the doors. I flung them open and stepped into the hallway. I was finally free. Well, that's what I thought, until I felt something brush against my leg. I looked down to see a long, thin strand of what looked like dirty, greasy hair. I pulled at it, but it wouldn't come out. It was stuck. Then I realized that it wasn't hair at all. It was a book. It was stuck to my leg, and it was spelled, "Do not go to the library." I ripped it off and slammed the door behind me. I didn't stop running until I got home. I was out of breath, but relieved to be safe. Or so I thought, because when I emptied my bag, I found a library book. It had fallen out of my bag. I must have picked it up when I was leaving the school. When I opened it, I read the title, "Return Yourself." And that's when I realized that I never should have volunteered to stay late. I may have escaped the library, but now it's coming for me.